You know, we spend our entire lives communicating. But for all the words we use, how much are we really getting across? We're going to go way beyond the dictionary here and explore the surprising and sometimes invisible ways we truly connect with each other. And you're going to see that the most important things we say often don't involve any words at all.
So let me just start with a kind of wild question. What if a single misunderstood word could literally change the course of human history? I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but this isn't a hypothetical. This actually happened.
Okay, picture this. It's 1945. World War II is finally nearing its end, and the Allies call for Japan's unconditional surrender. The Japanese Prime Minister's response to the world was just one word, mokusatsu. What he meant to say was, no comment. Basically, we're thinking it over. But the way it was translated? To treat with silent contempt, a complete dismissal. And just 1 week later, the atomic bombs fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. A catastrophic failure of communication, all triggered by a single word.
So if words can be that flawed, that dangerous, what else is there? Well, it turns out every single one of us has this incredible communication superpower. And the crazy part is, most of us are completely ignoring it. It's the language our bodies are speaking, 24/7.
I mean, the scale here is just wild. Now, experts might argue about the exact percentages, but they all agree on the big picture. A huge, huge chunk of what we communicate is nonverbal. Think about it. You're on the phone with someone and you're still gesturing with your hands, right? Even though they can't see you. That's because our bodies are constantly broadcasting our true feelings, whether we want them to or not.
And why is this silent language so powerful? Well, it's because it's honest. It comes from our limbic system, this really primitive part of our brain that's wired for survival. It doesn't think, it doesn't plan, it just reacts. You know, when you hear some terrible news and your hand just flies up to your mouth, that's your limbic system. It's a pure gut reaction. It literally doesn't know how to lie.
So, how do we actually start using this power intentionally? Well, according to experts at Stanford's Business School, it all starts with your foundation, finding what they call a base posture. And here's the secret, the real key. The stance that looks the most confident and comfortable to the people watching you might not feel the most comfortable to you at first. But getting that down is the launching pad for everything else. And once you have that base, you can start using your hands with real purpose. The Stanford team points to 3 main gestures. First, there's the give, where you use an open palm, like you're presenting facts or options. Then there's the show, where you basically paint a picture of your idea with your hands. And finally, the chop, that sharp, decisive motion you use to make a strong point. Using these on purpose, it makes your message land with so much more impact. But as we learn these new tools, we also have to unlearn some of the myths. Like, what about crossing your arms? We've all been told it's a defensive, closed-off gesture. Well, former FBI agent Joe Navarro, a total expert on this stuff, he calls that nonsense. He says that most of the time it's just a self-hug. You're just getting comfortable. So the real lesson here is, you got to look deeper than those pop psychology cliches to understand what's really going on.
Okay, so mastering your body's honest language is a huge piece of the puzzle, but it's only half the battle. To be truly effective, you have to align that nonverbal power with the other side of the coin, the words themselves. Because when you wield them right, your words are maybe the most powerful and, as some would argue, your most dangerous tool.
Just think about this idea from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Now, when he says dangerous, he doesn't mean you're a physical threat. He means you're formidable, you're competent, you're a force to be reckoned with, someone whose ideas can actually go out and shape the world.
And the difference here is it's just night and day. On one side, you have the articulate mind. It can negotiate, it can persuade, it can lead. And on the other, the inarticulate mind, lost in a fog of ums and ahs, unable to even put together a clear vision. And listen, this isn't just about being a CEO or a politician. A plumber who can clearly explain their value is going to get more business than one who can't. It's a fundamental skill for being effective in literally any field.
So why is this so critical? Because being articulate isn't just about speaking well, it's about thinking well. If you dig down deep, our whole culture is built on this one powerful idea, that it's the word, the ability to articulate, that lets us carve out order from all the chaos and random possibilities of life.
If you can't describe something clearly, you can't fix it, you can't build it, you can't make it better. Simple as that. Okay, so we've got the body, we've got the word, but what's next? What's the next step in how we connect with each other? And this, well, this is where things start to sound a lot like science fiction. We might be heading toward a reality that exists completely beyond words.
I mean, if you look at human history, it's just a series of leaps in how we communicate. From just speaking to each other, to the printing press, to the internet. And every single leap didn't just speed things up, it totally changed society. The next step on this path, it could be the most radical one we've ever seen. Brain-computer interfaces, or BCI.
And hey, this isn't some far-off fantasy. There are major players in a full-on race to get there right now. You've got companies like Elon Musk's Neuralink and Brian Johnson's Kernel building the actual hardware. At the same time, researchers at places like Harvard are creating injectable electronics that could literally merge with our brains. The mission to connect minds directly? It is well underway.
The ultimate dream for some of these pioneers is something they call a neurological internet. Just think about that. A network that would let us skip the clumsy step of using language and just transmit thoughts, emotions, even memories directly from one brain to another. In a world like that, words as we know them might just become these primitive artifacts, a relic of an ancient time.
So, what do we do with all of this? I mean, that sci-fi future of sending thoughts, that's still a ways off. For us, right here, right now, the takeaway is crystal clear. Real mastery of communication isn't about choosing your body or your words. It's about becoming a master of both. It's about learning to speak that honest, silent language of our bodies while at the same time sharpening that world-shaping power of our words.
But it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What would it actually mean for us, for humanity, if we could share a feeling as easily as we send a text message? If you could transmit the precise feeling of empathy or joy or even sorrow directly into someone else's mind? How would that change everything?
And that brings us to this final, really powerful idea. It's a reminder that communication is so much more than just connecting. It's about exploration. Whether we're using our bodies, our words, or some future technology, our ability to describe the world is what defines the world we can even access. The problems we can't solve today, maybe they're just the ones we haven't found the right language for yet.